There's been quite a discussion on the internet concerning the lack of MIDI synchronization with the DP series of Porta Studios, especially the newer DP24 SD and DP32 SD. So this video is about the old school way of synchronizing any audio recorder using MIDI. This was used in the old analog tape days when there was no other choice, but it's still useful with modern digital recorders as long as they have audio inputs. As usual, I'm going to try and explain why MIDI sync is needed, but you can skip this background info if you like and jump straight to the how to do it section. So first of all, what is the difference between audio and MIDI signals? And here's an audio signal on an oscilloscope. Low notes look like this, high notes like this, and a more complex sound is like this. Now in all cases, the voltage level changes smoothly between its maximum and minimum values. There are no abrupt changes. This is the nature of analog signals. Now in contrast, a MIDI signal is a digital signal. It looks like this. The level is either at its maximum or at its minimum, but never in between. The time it spends at these two levels form a series of patterns which have specific meanings to MIDI devices, such as turn on a G-sharp note, or turn off a G-sharp note, or trigger a snare drum. A MIDI signal is therefore a description of the music, not the music itself. So you can think of it as a musical score. It only gets converted into actual sounds, or audio, when musicians follow the score to play their instruments, or in this case, when the MIDI signal is converted into audio by a MIDI player device. And with the score analogy, if a musician uses a crappy old violin or a Stradivarius, you'll hear a different quality of sound, even though it's the same score. And if they use a completely different instrument to play the same notes, it may sound even stranger. So the actual sound is open to interpretation. And with a MIDI signal, the actual sound for the notes and drums is only created when the MIDI signal is decoded and converted to audio. So again, it can vary in quality or realism, especially if different instruments or drum kits are used to play the same notes. And from now on, I'll just use the term drum machine to mean any device which has a concept of tempo, such as a sequencer or a groove box or an arranger keyboard and so on. And so far there's no problem. If you want to record a drum machine, you just record its audio output. The problems come when you want to overdub another layer of sound. You rewind your recorder, press record, and at the same time press play on the drum machine. But as you can imagine, it's difficult, if not impossible, to hit the buttons at exactly the same time. And even if you do manage to synchronize the start times, how do you avoid the two machines drifting over time? They're both using their own internal clocks for timing purposes, so they will drift eventually. Now, this may not be an issue if your songs are short, or if the type of music is fairly loose anyway. But what if it is a problem? Okay, well, back to MIDI. What else can it do for us? Well, luckily, some of the patterns are designed to control timing and synchronization, which is just what we want. For example, one of them means start playing. One is stop playing. Another might be a certain amount of time has passed. Or another one, this is the current time. So all we need to do is record the MIDI signal onto a spare track, surely. Well, the problem is, an audio recorder is designed to handle audio signals, smoothly varying voltage levels, and not sudden changes like you get in a MIDI signal. You could try it, but you'll find the MIDI signal is distorted so badly the drum machine won't be able to understand it when you play it back. And what we need is some gadget which converts the high and low levels of a MIDI signal into a series of audio bleeps or tones which can be recorded, and vice versa. A MIDI-sync unit. Now it doesn't have to handle all the MIDI patterns, just the ones used for synchronization. Here's an example of a MIDI-sync unit by Yamaha. It handles start, stop, and a certain amount of time has passed, which is about the minimum you'll need. You have to rewind the recorder and drum machine to the start of the song for each overdub, but everything will start in sync and remain in sync throughout the song. The more advanced units can also handle the "this is the current time" pattern. So this allows you to start overdubs with the recorder partway through the song. The drum machine will catch up, or chase, to the corresponding point in time. Philip Rees made one called the TS-1, which I believe did this. Well, that's a theory. How is it done in practice? The first thing is to configure your drum machine and sync box as master timekeepers. You record the audio bleeps from the sync box onto a spare track, and this is the master timing track. You only need to do this once. You then configure the drum machine and sync box as slave time followers. The recorder is now the master timekeeper, so the drum machine will follow the timing track whenever you record an overdub. Okay, let's do one from scratch. First, I'm going to load a reset template, so we start in a known state. Menu, Song, Reset, Load. Mine was made using a factory template, but with all the input assignments cleared and all effect levels set to 0. Once we've loaded the template, we know the machine settings are all known, so we can immediately create our required song, which will also be in that same known state. Right, the first thing to record is the master timing track. So we need to configure the drum machine so that it is using its internal clock. That makes it the master timekeeper. On this particular machine, we press the MIDI button and confirm the clock says int for internal. I connect the MIDI output from the drum machine to the sync unit and the audio output from the sync box to, in my case, input H. You can use any input you like, and I now need to assign this to a spare track. I'll use track 31, and just to show that you can, on this particular DP32, change stereo tracks to mono, I'll change that to a single mono track. You don't have to do this, a stereo track would do just as well. But there we are, we've assigned H to track 31. If we arm the track by pressing Rec and turn its fader up, you should hear an audio tone which is generated by the sync box. Now it sounds like a pure tone when nothing else is happening, but it will change when I press play on the drum machine. Now those warbles are the MIDI time codes converted into audio by the sync box. So as with any recording, we use the trim control for the required input to set a decent level on the meter bar. Now I can now just record this time track on its own, but it can be convenient if you also record the first pass of the audio signal, and you can hear where you are in the song. Now it's not essential, as you can always do this as your first overdub. As long as you record a timing track which is long enough for the song, you can do it either way. In this case, I'm also going to record the audio. This particular drum rhythm I've got set up here. It's from a freely available set of patterns, and there are several drum parts and some synth parts. So I'm just going to overdub these in stages just to demonstrate the fact that they can all be synchronized. So I've just soloed the hi-hats and some of the other drums there, and we'll add the others later. And the audio output from the drum machine I've got connected to input A. So I'm going to assign this to a spare track, say track 1. Select track 1, select source, and there it is. I'll arm the track, and then I can use the trim control and the output from the drum machine to get a good level in the recording meter here. In fact, there's a good enough signal from the drum machine, so I don't need to turn up the trim at all. You hear what it sounds like? Okay, so just check we're ready to record. The recorder is rewound, the drum machine's rewound, we're recording the timing track and the audio. I'm going to press record on the recorder, wait a few seconds, and then press play on the drum machine. And that means the recorder will record some of this pure tone before the drum track actually starts, and this will help the sync box get back into sync when you play it back later. Record, play. You can hear the warble. And as we saw before, none of these affect the recording levels. All right, you must, if you've watched the video tutorials, that must be second nature to you by now, I hope. Right, stop the drum machine. You can hear the tone's gone back to a pure tone, and we can stop the recorder. Now, most important, you unarm the timing track. We do not want to overwrite that now. It doesn't matter if you overwrite the audio, because we can always recreate that later and it will stay in sync with the timing track. Now that's the only time the drum machine is the master timekeeper. From now on, the recorder's time track, this track 31, is the master. Right, now we'll reconfigure the system for the overdubs. Right, we need to route the timing track back to the sync box so it can convert the bleeps back into MIDI timing signals, and those can then control the drum machine. That's how things stay in sync. And maybe your first thought is to connect the stereo output from here to the sync box. But this is the main mix, so by definition it will contain all the other music tracks which will build up as we do more overdubs. In fact, we want to turn this timing track fader right down so we cannot hear it at all, which then begs the question, how do we get the signal out of the machine? Well, this is an ideal case for the send system. Now, if you've watched the tutorial videos, you've seen that you can route any track out of either of the sockets at the back, and these signals can be independent of the track's fader, as long as we use the pre option. That's what pre means, tap off the signal before the fader. Now I've connected effects send 2 to the sync box. So if we go to the mixer screen, select the timing track and confirm in the top right, turn on the send 2 system, set it to pre, turn up the send 2 level, and the master 2 level. Now you may need to experiment with these levels if the sync box fails to convert reliably. Now this sync box has a switch for configuring into playback mode, so I'll switch this. Other sync units might have different methods of doing this, or you might just have to manually connect the cables in the right way. Right, the MIDI output from the sync box is connected to the MIDI input of the drum machine. So the last thing we have to do is configure the drum machine to be a slave by changing its clock source to external. So we go to MIDI, turn the knob, and we're now external. This means it will only play back in sync with external timing signals which come from its MIDI input socket, in other words from the sync box. So we're nearly all set for the first overdub. Now I'm going to record it onto track 2, so assign track 2 to input A. There we are. Press Rec to arm the track. And note, this time, and all subsequent times, we do not arm the timing track. Now I'll set the drum machine to play a different part now of this rhythm. You need to make sure both the recorder and the drum machine are rewound to the start of the song. And all we need to do now is press record on the recorder. We don't touch the drum machine because as soon as that picks up the synchronization pulses, it will start playing. Let's try it. I'll turn that up so we can hear it. This is the original track. Right, the drum machine stopped automatically because we also recorded the stop signal onto the timing track. So the only thing that's running now is the recorder. So we can stop this and unarm the track. Now if you play these both back, you'll hear they're both in sync. Now even if we change the tempo on the drum machine on the first pass, those tempo changes will be reflected in the timing track and all subsequent overdubs. I'll just do one more pass. So we'll now use track 3. Go to assign, select track 3, source A, arm track 3, rewind, rewind, press record. First of all, we'll just have a listen to it. Okay, let's listen to the whole lot. Okay, so hope that's helped. Unfortunately, I don't think anybody makes sync boxes anymore, but you may be able to pick one up second hand, which is what I just did with this Yamaha YMC-10. Okay, thanks for watching.